What is up? Welcome to the unofficial Tedeschi Trucks podcast. This is episode number 115, and I am Adam Choit. To follow this show, it's at Tedeschi Trucks Podcast on Instagram, and if you're on YouTube, you are watching, so please subscribe. Give the video likes, shares. I definitely appreciate all that. I'm at Adam Choit on Instagram and Twitter. If you want to follow me, that's at Adam Choit, my name. Please be sure to give this show a positive review on Apple Podcasts. That's appreciated. And subscribing on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on, that's also appreciated too. TedeschiTrucksPodcast.com. All things for this show, all the social media links, ways to watch and subscribe is there. AdamChoit.com for all my personal stuff. What is going on outside? I think you guys probably hear that. I see laughter in the waiting room there, so that is a confirmed yes. So this episode, we will be recapping the band, Tedeschi Trucks Band, at the Simmons Bank Arena in Little Rock, Arkansas. That was on April 28th. At the BJCC Concert Hall in Birmingham, Alabama on Saturday the 29th. And we'll find out what BJCC stands for. And then, of course, New Orleans Jazz Festival yesterday. Not yesterday, it was 2 days ago, Sunday, April 30th. And joining us is David Flamm, contributor. Let's call him contributor at this point. Tim Jones, Sandy Bloodworth, and Massie Valentine. All hardcore fans who are first-timers to this podcast. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to let them steer the ship. So without further ado, let's bring in all these guys. Here we go. Oh, how's everyone doing?
Great.
I see everyone. I hear everyone. That's once I can see everyone and hear everyone, that's all that matters. Then I could just sit back and let you guys steer the ship. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. This is going to be a lot of fun. I don't even know where to begin. Usually I just begin counterclockwise. It's good to see you again, David. But we got, like I was saying, first timers here, Tim, Sandy, and Massie. So I'll start with Tim. Tell me about how you got connected in the whole TTB world and how long you've been in it. And I'll try to move this train along because we do have 3 shows and 5 sets to talk about. We don't have to get into every song. We could jump around. That's cool. Who's clicking and clacking over there? Is that Massie? Is that your camera? Maybe. I'm not sure. Let's see here.
Hold on.
Testing. Someone else is crackling.
It's not me.
I don't think that's here.
I'm not sure. Someone who, if you're listening and watching, let us know if the audio is good or whatnot. But anyway,
Can each of us mute to see if one of it cuts it off or something?
Yeah. Testing. I think it's Sandy.
Yeah, it's gone away now, I think.
Yeah.
I think you're lagging a little bit.
Yeah, Sandy may be come in and come out. I'm going to repost this as a video and audio podcast. But, Tim, why don't you tell me how you got connected to TTB and all about your fandom?
A really long time ago, I used to be a booking agent and got a videotape in the mail from some dad in Florida. And I thought, what is this? And there was some remote Allman Brothers connection. And so I booked him because he was a kid, and Kenny Wayne and Johnny Lang were selling a lot of tickets. And so we'll see how this kid does. And so 15-year-old Derek Trucks played the club, and he did get the second gig. He was not just good for a kid, he was really good. And I don't remember a lot about that first show, but the band came back. Susan sat in with them, and that was really cool. And that was early 2000s, sometime 2001, 2, like that. I'm not sure. And then I guess I saw Tedeschi Trucks Band the first time they came to Little Rock in 2012. And that was kind of a special thing because I'd been dating my still girlfriend of 11 years now for about 10 minutes. And I said, hey, I've got extra tickets to this Tedeschi Trucks concert. And she said, yes. And, so the rest is history.
Very, very cool. So you've been in it for a long time. If you're mentioning seeing Derek and when he was 15 years old, and so you've been kind of following these people for a while. It sounds like Susan too.
Yeah. I live and breathe music. Still do. I've been out of the music business for a long time, but I got a radio show. It's what I do with my spare time, and it's what I do with my not spare time. I've got music on most of the time.
Very cool. I'm gonna bring in Sandy and he'll tell me about his history with the band. So let's do that. How are we doing, Sandy?
I'm doing fine. Can you hear me now?
I think it's better.
Yeah.
Let's give it a shot.
Okay.
Tell me about your history with the band and how you got connected with them and how long you've been following TTB and all that.
Been following about 6 years. Only got started really following the shows about 2 years ago, and David was one of the first fans I met down in Chattanooga, Tennessee. He got me hooked up with a lot of the good fans we got here now.
Very cool. I might have to boot you out again. Your audio is not very good at all. You got another device? Get another device and call back.
Yeah, let me swap phones.
You got
Awesome.
it. All right. Let's get to Massie. Tell me about how you got connected, because these guys were telling me even before you joined. They're like, yeah, this guy he's pretty connected with TTB and has been for a while and loves them as well.
Yeah, well, I've been a follower of Derek forever. Please excuse me. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this, so I've got a little bit of nerves going on.
I appreciate it. It's all good. This is casual.
Not a great speaker. So, I've been following. I was born in 85, so I started following Derek, in the late 90s, and just was so into DTB, and those would be the nights where, like, somehow get your parents to believe you're like going to a friend's house to spend the night and go to a Derek Trucks show. And it's just kind of progressed, and I've always loved him. I've always loved the Allman Brothers. My father brought me up listening to the Grateful Dead and the Allman Brothers and everything, and it just kind of like it's been my life forever. And I'm a really fortunate man and have somehow gotten to know them slightly, not by like any great means. They're just gracious people and I love them so much. But I came into touch with this guy named Bill Luckadoo, who Tim might know from back in the day, because Bill was highly involved with Derek back in his younger days. And we just got to know each other, and we're simpatico. Became best friends really quickly, and he exposed me to things, that you as a fan, you're like, oh man, I wish for all those situations. And now it's just like all I truly care about is the music and seeing TTB, but it's really cool to be able to talk to them every now and then and have fun and see them cut loose a little bit. But I can't divulge too much information there. But,
use your judgment, and that's so cool. That's such a cool story, and it's interesting that you didn't like. Doesn't sound like you worked for Derek. Didn't sound like you worked for the band. Doesn't sound like you're a musician yourself or a professional musician or anything like that. You're just What's that?
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Continue.
No. You said you play music, or you don't?
I do. I've played guitar since I was 13 years old, but I am nowhere near a professional musician.
Right. You're just a dude, and you guys connect on a human level, and what's better than that? Let's try Sandy. I'm sure you have a lot of stories. Let's try Sandy one more time here. How
How's
we
that
doing?
better?
Oh, I think that's much better.
Yes, yes.
Awesome. Good.
Yeah. So tell me about your connection to the band.
I've just been a fan forever of Allman Brothers, of course. And then when, Derek jumped over here and started his own band, I started going to concerts with my sons and saw them in Snowden Grove and outside of Memphis for the first time and just fell in love with them, of course.
When was this?
It was probably 6 or 7 years ago.
Oh, so is that when you discovered?
Yeah, I
TTB?
kind of picked them up. I was kind of late coming on, according compared to some of you guys.
We got a good mix. We got a good mix.
I think so.
Do I sound echoey on your guys' end? A
little bit. It's kind of quiet on my end, but
yeah. Set your. I'd say set your phone down, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see if that's a better connection. I got you. Well, let's get into the shows. So the first one was the Arkansas show in Little Rock on 28th. And who went to that one? That was Tim, and that was
Sandy.
And Sandy. Okay, tell me about that show.
Well, it's the first time I've seen them in my home state, which was a great experience.
How far did you guys have to travel to get to the
About
venue?
2 hours.
Wow.
What about you, Tim?
About 15-minute drive.
Nice.
Yeah, right down the road.
Good.
Well, don't go quiet on us, Tim. I know you've written some articles and stuff about the band, and you are extremely knowledgeable. So please pontificate for us.
Thank you, David. That's great. Yeah.
Well, let's see.
Tell me about the venue.
Well, they played Robinson Auditorium 3 times. 2012, 17, and 19, I think. And maybe 16. But yeah, last time was 19. I was really surprised they went to the arena because, it's an 18,000 seat, cavern. It's, you can have the monster truck there, or you can have, Elton John. And so I know the building manager, and checked in with him, and he said, no, it's the theater at Simmons Bank is what they call it. And what it is they pull the stage down about 75% of the way toward the end of the floor, and they put up giant curtains behind it, and there's curtains all around the upper deck, and even curtains over the seats that were at the side stage. So it actually made for a cozy little amphitheater sort of thing. There's only 10 rows on the floor. I was really surprised that the floor would be so shallow. And our seats were about 10 up behind the soundboard. And I mean, that PA was like wearing headphones. It was pretty sweet. A little bit of a boomy kind of, arena sound compared to, when I've seen them in theaters that are a little bit more acoustically kind, but those guys are pros. They dialed it in. So yeah, I thought the sound was really good. And I guess the next thing that impressed me was the crowd was pretty raucous. They really got into it from early on. I mean, Elizabeth Lee got an ovation for a trombone solo in like the second song. So how cool is that?
Yeah. Every show is who's got the dog? I
got the damn dog. I'm gonna go let her in.
No problem.
Who let the dog in?
Let's try Sandy again. Tell me about what your thoughts about the venue and what upon entering.
I thought it was a great venue too. I was kind of surprised it was that, they had it narrowed down so small, like you said. So it was pretty intimate feeling. And not bragging, but I did have front row seats, which makes it nice too.
Nice.
Sweet.
Not bad.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
that's
much
cozy.
where you were.
Yeah, that's a good spot. Good spot right in front of Gabe, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Picked up tickets pretty early on.
Very nice.
Nice. Yeah. This is why I'm doing this podcast, so I can live vicariously through you guys. Let me pull up the set list for that one. That was Friday.
Good.
Here we go. Does this look accurate to you guys? Like I was saying, I haven't really heard much of the.
Yes, that's
music.
exactly it. Yeah.
They
Man,
stuck
that's
to
a
it.
good set right there.
That was the first half before intermission.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
powerhouse
And
set list.
I loved it. It was absolutely just. I was delighted to hear all the new material, and I kind of expected that they would play a lot of stuff from the I Am the Moon records, but it exceeded my expectations. I was delighted to hear all that, and of course they've never played it in Arkansas before, so it's you know it's a great opportunity. And I gotta say, these guys are. I mean, obviously they're superb musicians, but their songwriting keeps getting better. I've heard so many bands for so long, and the ones that really kind of go stale on me are the ones that they may be great players, but they don't have great songs. And this stuff just, not their execution is great, but they're giving themselves some stuff with real legs. I mean, it just keeps growing on me.
Yeah, keep on growing. It's like even like thematically in the music, it's like there's like a narrative to our connection to the band, if that makes any sense. Like lyrically, it's like a story. We're part of the whole story, like with this band unfolding. It's been fun to see all the new material be released. Did anything jump out at you, especially from this set? This was the show where I was talking about, because I did see one clip of one song of the Do I Look Worried with, I think Kebby did a sax solo.
I was wondering what Tim and Sandy thought of that, because Tim, I saw your video, and I mean, I was shocked that Derek gave up some of his guitar solo for a Kebby solo on Do I Look Worried. What'd you guys think of that?
I loved it, but I couldn't see it very well, but I love the sound of it.
Yeah, he's super talented, dude. It was it was very melodic, It's almost a little bit of a different side of Kebby's soloing, I think in some regards. He's always full of surprises. Like that's the thing with this band and all these musicians. Like you're always getting surprises.
Yeah, he's not repeating himself, and he didn't really go out even in the second set on some of the stuff that I thought was a good deal more free form. He kept it pretty melodic, I thought.
Yeah. No, you get a whole range of everything with this band when you see them, of course, and that's part of the whole amazing experience. Yeah, Take Me As I Am. I always love to see that on the set lists. Yeah, that always jumps out at me.
And yeah it was that. It's just such a sweet song, and I was laughing with a friend on Saturday night. He said, "God, we're getting sentimental in my old age. It's like I can cry at a cat food commercial." And so I got teary eyed half a dozen times during the show. It was it's the best Tedeschi Truck show that I've seen to date, probably. I guess it's my 16th show. And yeah, I mean, it's not that useful to rank them, I don't think, but I mean, it was just as good an experience I've had in front of a stage as anything I can think of.
Yeah, that's what everyone says, is that the most recent show is the best one. Yeah. And David, you who go to show after show after show say this, so I feel like you're, I make sure I get the opinions of the real fans, the true fans, whether it's someone who's been in it for a long time or not been in it for a long time. Everyone's always saying that the band just gets better and better.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I didn't experience Derek and Susan as early as Tim and Massie, but I've definitely loaded up on the shows the last 10 years. And it's always, it always seems like it's the last show. And, you're always saying, everybody's always saying, you scratch your head. Is it really so? Is it really so? And, I know we hadn't gotten there yet, but Birmingham, the night after this, I was saying, is Derek really, is he really going off tonight? Is this really am I really hearing this and thinking this is the best I've ever enjoyed what he's doing? Whatever it's the bet, whatever. It just gave me the most enjoyment out of his playing that night. We'll talk about it, but it blew me away in Birmingham. It was insane. His playing. And I mentioned to another guy that I really value his opinion, and he saw some of the videos, and he said, David, no, you're not crazy. He goes, there's some nights where he's superhuman. I was like, well, I don't know, but I guess he's superhuman a lot of nights. But that Birmingham show just really, it really blitzed me. And I will say I did see the Jazz Fest show after that. So I'm not saying Jazz Fest was the best I ever saw. So that might be a first, where I'm not saying the last show was the best I ever saw, but it was, damn close. Hit an outdoor venue with 50,000 people or so, and it was made a lot more fun because I got to stand right next to Massie and that big old crowd of 50,000 people. We were with our better halves, and all four of us together out there in a big field in New Orleans together. It was awesome.
That's very cool. The band must feel that also, like the way the regular fans or the hardcore fans describe the band as getting better and better, and as fans getting more and more enjoyment, like exponentially more enjoyment each time we see them and each time we listen to them play. We're getting more and more enjoyment. So that's something that the band must feel like also, that from the fans and giving it to the fans, and it's like this symbiotic. It's like this cycle of, I guess, for lack of a better term, like love between the band and the fans as the band just continues to grow musically. Like that's what it's ultimately all about, is the music. How many times, I'm going to bring in Sandy again. Sandy, how many times have you seen
I think
band?
this was my 10th show, if I counted right, the other night.
And do you feel that with the band? Like, do you feel more and more, I guess, love between, like, it's just a better experience each time? Like, it just
I do feel that way. Sure do. I agree.
Yeah.
It was such a good connection Friday night, it seemed like, with the crowd.
Yeah, it sounds like it was a standing crowd, more of a standing crowd.
It was where I was. I'm not sure. I didn't look around, but
not so much in the stands.
Yeah, sometimes when you're in the front row, Sandy, you don't even realize there's anybody behind you, right? It's like they're playing to me. I don't know if
I was in my own little world.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Adam, the first time I met Tim, was the first time I ever had front row seats to a TTB show, and we happened to be at the Ryman, and Tim was standing right next to us in the front row. That was the first time we met. Was that 2016, Tim? Do you remember?
I think that's right.
Yeah.
And
so we were.
I don't know about you, but I'm not over that yet. I mean, that's
Tim took some great videos. I don't know how you do it, like a 360 video, Tim. I love looking back on that every once in a while. He had this. I don't know how he did it with his phone or camera or whatever, but had some just really cool videos.
I
from
borrowed
the front
a 360 camera.
Yeah. I mean, really cool. Yeah, as you said, first time ever front row. It was just, and to do it at the Ryman, I mean, that was a bliss, and actually started and doing our T-shirts. The first time we got a front row seat, we wanted to kind of commemorate that. So that was the first time Ann made T-shirts for us to for a TTB show, and I think she's probably ruined the day that we decided to do that first time, and have kept it going.
Very cool. What do you think of the second set, Tim? I'm gonna try Sandy again. I'm telling him to try some different devices. We're trying to make it work. But tell me what you think of the second set. Let Me Get By. When Let Me Get By starts a set, they don't extend the solo and the outros, or they don't extend the song as much. But I kind of like that in some regard. Was that how that Let Me Get By version was opening the second set? It wasn't quite the extended.
I loved it. I mean, it was great. I was, I found myself, it's like, I really want to hear, I really want to hear exactly what I ended up hearing. I just didn't hear it. They just didn't start with it. And so, I wanted to hear I Am the Moon. I wanted to hear Circles Around the Sun. I wanted to hear Pasquan. And so, they pretty much, they played my favorite part of the I Am the Moon, records. I like the first one. I guess I like the first one best. I love them all, but and I really love the way they stretched out on virtually all of them. The horn parts in Fall In are great. I Am the Moon had these kind of spacey passages that, I don't know, some of it reminded me of back when Tim was in the band. They do what's the Miles Davis song, Ali, or something like that.
The intro to Midnight.
Yeah.
It's kind of spacey and atmospheric. Circles Around the Sun was just pinned me to the wall. I mean, that was, the first time I ever heard the song, I knew that, that vocal chorus was going to be, next level live. And, it absolutely didn't disappoint. It was just really, really moving. And, part of me was great. I guess I've heard recordings of the new arrangement with that, where Alicia gets to show out. And I really loved that. And, Walk on Gilded Splinters made my hair on the back of my neck stand up. I mean, it was powerful.
Mike kills that one for sure.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying, because we haven't had a chance to chat at all, Tim. So I'm just enjoying getting a chance to just listen to you kind of describe all these songs that I've talked about dozens and dozens of times, and just like the different ways. Oh yeah, you're articulating my thoughts or my feelings, or how I felt at a show or listening to these songs, recently, most likely. But like looking at the set list, it's just such a diverse smorgasbord of all things TTB. Like just associating some of the feelings I get, like looking through this set list and going through this set list, like Let Me Get By, that's like triumphant, and Fallen is like really fun, and I Am the Moon is like heartbreaking and emotional, and Circles is psychedelic, and Pasquan is also psychedelic, but like a spiritual journey, and in its own way. And part of me is more even pop and soulful and upbeat, and Gilded is tribal, and how Blue is, well, a traditional blues song, a serious blues song, and Made Up Mind is rock and roll essentially. And like you really get everything from this set list. I mean, like I said, you could pick it out of a hat, but I don't think this was picked out of a hat at all. I think this was definitely crafted for sure.
Oh yeah. I would guess they're paying attention to what they've played in different cities before. I mean, I can't imagine that they would, necessarily, really study that sort of thing. I don't think they're archivists in that sense, but they've got a good sense of what's never been played there. They know they haven't been to Arkansas since all the pandemic and all this new music.
Yeah, they probably don't have any hard and fast rules to their set list, but there's certain things that go under some considerations, from what I understand, and that makes sense. Anything else on this show, or maybe we should move on to? We got
I
two more
think
shows to
any
get to.
hardcore fan would have had a great night at that show in Arkansas. There, those two great sets. So that's pretty exciting. I'm loving how blue can you get. I think Susan is just we got a version of that as well. I think at Jazz Fest, and I mean she had those 50,000 people going nuts over her solo on how blue it was. It was awesome.
Yeah.
You know, in any normal band, she would be the best musician. This is not
Absolutely.
a normal band.
Right. I was reminded that they would sell out. The part of the reason that we haven't actually discussed this on the show or anything, but they're that, you know, them doing the arena shows is part of the fact is that Susan could sell out the Beacon herself and Derek the same, and who knows who else as well in the band, perhaps, or even in some combination. But yeah, like, yeah, what you guys are saying, what Tim is saying is right on the money. Certainly.
Hey Tim, I always say, shh, be quiet. There's 5 singers that could lead lead bands out there, you know, but don't tell 4 of them, because we want them sticking around.
My man,
Yeah, we
every
do.
member of that band could front their own band, or be the leader of their band. It's unbelievable.
Do we have to remind them maybe that they're not talented? You have to trick them and remind them they're not talented. It's almost like that, like when you talk smack about I got football on the brain, NFL draft on the brain, but how they try to like talk badly upon the prospects, so they fall in the draft. So we have to like kind of like talk negatively about the other members of the band, so they don't get ideas about doing their own things. And
I'm guessing Derek and Sue have a healthier employee retention plan.
Yeah,
we certainly hope so.
Pandemic.
Right. And there is the opportunity for side projects and solo projects, and the band is doing that, and I'm sure more of that is coming in the coming years, and that's exciting too. And I'll talk about that and listen to that and dive into all of that. This is the poster I pulled up for those watching as well from the Alabama show from Birmingham. That looks super cool. I should try to give credit to the artist if I could find that as well.
Absolutely love that poster.
Yeah,
loved it. Got in line, and Ann was like, first, gosh, we've got so many posters. Looked at it again, and I was like, no, gotta have it. We bought it.
The thing with me in the poster art is like I am like the ultimate unconditional person who loves this band unconditionally, and the music especially and them as people and all that. But I feel like I do love some posters more than other posters. Like I like just looking at different ones, like, and this one definitely, it really pops.
Yeah, it's we have a friend that lives near us in Atlanta. He buys every show. He buys an unsigned, a signed. He buy every variety, whatever. He's just a fiend with them.
Yeah,
And,
Nate Gonzalez is the artist. Nate
really?
Moonlife on Instagram. Yeah,
It's a great poster.
Okay, I should just share this page, but yeah, his work. This is like it's his style, but that there's definitely like crossover between his style and TTB, so it makes sense. Like, that there's that connection there. Like that's how serious this band like takes all that stuff. They don't just like hire anyone to do this stuff. There's got to be like a reason, a connect, some sort of like connection, and that makes the art and the music and the overall experience that much better, I would think. That would be the set list from Saturday, set 1.
Yeah.
I should read it off for the audience. Signs here, my dear, fall in just as strange. Somebody picking my pieces, gravity, pass it on, yes, who will. Apologies for not doing that for reading it for the audio listeners. But yeah,
I guess I might have been the only one that was at the Birmingham show.
And Massie, were you at Jazz? You're at the
I've been
Jazz
in New
Festival.
Orleans since last Thursday, April 27th.
So you weren't at this show. Just David was at this show, and Massie and David
yeah.
were at Jazz
Yeah.
Fest.
I was already deep into Jazz Fest.
But you had mentioned, I think, at the outset about it's what BJCC Theater or whatever. It's Birmingham Jefferson County, something like that. But it's Birmingham Jefferson.
I believe you.
It's
You
the
could have said
BJ
anything.
or whatever. But it's a great concert hall. I mean, it's kind of like a theater thing. It was really, really awesome sound in there. I mean, the couple of levels, the level up at the top is pretty high up, but as funny as I knew the fella that was very top row, last row up at the top, and he said it was incredible from up there. We hooked up after the show and chatted about it, and he just said it was amazing from the very top row at the back of the theater. We were all up. We were on the second row on the right side, so over kind of in front of Brandon, and everybody on the right side was up the entirety of the show. I think there was a few people maybe sitting a little bit on the left side, but I thought the crowd was really good. They did the Willie Nelson song for his 90th birthday, so she dedicated that. Signs as an opener was a little bit different, I think. And then pulling out Just as Strange. I mean, what a groove that song is. It's great to hear that, coming back a few times. And I can't see the rest of it right now, so I don't recall it off the top of my head. But Just as Strange was awesome. Gravity, and then kind of a Passaquan kind of, usually comes out of something else. But you always know when he picks up that beautiful red guitar, we're going to get a Passaquan, and it was awesome. And then I guess, Gravity and Yes We Will are, for me, are my two favorites off the I Am the Moon. At least right now, they're my two favorites.
This week,
right?
For the beginning of this
Gravity.
week.
Yeah,
Gravity and Passaquan, those are powerful Derek moments.
But
look
at that lineup
TTB show.
But look at that lineup of new stuff: Gravity, Pasquale, and Yes We Will in a row. I mean, geez, that's a lot of firepower right there. I mean, You've got Gabe, then you get Derek, and then you get Susan, right? 1, 2, 3, right there, and it's
right, exactly.
Oh my God, it was. And I think Tim mentioned that Fall In. I've said it before on some of the podcasts. That song, it just keeps reeling me in, and that end it gets funky. Mike's lyrics in that are incredible. That one is really been. I kind of call it my sleeper off the album, but God, it's so freaking good.
Did you get video? What's that, Massie?
I'm sorry. I'm surprised we didn't get that in New Orleans because it has that kind of vibe.
That's why you didn't get it, because they played it that is a New Orleans vibe, and obviously Adrian Jackson with the tuba, it adds even more of, I feel like, that New Orleans flair to it, adding the extra horn when he on the album and when he's played it with them. Powerful, and you get, like you said, Gabe, Derek, Susan, like just the balance of not just the emotional balance of the set list construction, but also like the personnel balance that always seems to be just perfect with everything this band does. Like, obviously that we have nitpickers, and it's fun to have conversations about set lists and who got it too much, or who didn't get enough shine, whatever. We can always say, I wish there was more of XYZ, but overall it's hard to complain and hard to argue with those things, those elements of this band. What else we got about this set?
As amazing as that set was, somehow it was the warm up for this second set, Adam. I mean, as I mentioned, the second set, Saturday night, Derek was, I don't know where. I mean, he was just off the hook. Yeah, I guess they cut So Long Savior. So they started the set with Anyhow, which again, I mean, I can listen to Susan sing that every day. I mean, it's just, it's a beauty. And then
Yeah.
Bell Bottom has been usually going into Why Does Love Got to Be So Sad? And I will tell you, if you haven't heard the video, you got to pick up that Any Day. I actually had two people message me, said they thought that was the best version they've ever heard of TTB doing Any Day. It was, again, it was otherworldly in my opinion, and unbelievable. Susan Killen, Feeling the Music Brings, love that. That one, we don't get that one as much right now. And Derek's solo in Midnight was so much feeling in that. I mean, it just, you talk about between the hairs on the back of your neck standing up and tearing up. I mean, all of that kind of happens with that solo there.
Both the intro and the outro to Midnight in Harlem, I assume. I was going to ask which one you're referring to, but the answer is probably yes. And I'm guessing like where it is in the set list, he probably played an extended intro to Midnight in Harlem.
Yeah. And then Susan Killen Angel in I love I Want More. I mean, if that song doesn't make you move, then you need to be in a box, because that song just and I apologize to the people listening to my video. I ended up picking up the video when Brandon went into a solo on the bass. I mean, it was just awesome. And then I kept begging. I said, please go into Soul Sacrifice, because sometimes they cut it, right? And they did. And I mean, Derek's playing on I Want More and Soul Sacrifice was, again, I mean, those were the three high. Any Day, Midnight, and I Want More were just spectacular. And I believe that Keith Sharp has video of all of those, if you can find them out there. He doesn't have a YouTube channel, but if you can somehow find them, I would.
Join the Tedeschi Trucks Band fans Facebook group. I think he posts them there. Or just like search the different groups on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's probably the best bet. Basically, that is what I do. Archive.org has TTB music, and then YouTube, searching most recent videos, Tedeschi Trucks Band is the best ways. And obviously official content, the albums and all the stuff that the band releases through their website and fan club and all that. Like, did I miss any ways to consume music? Mixlr.
I did post on Facebook asking if anybody did get a recording of this show. I haven't heard anybody.
I've refreshed a few apps, and I haven't seen any.
Yeah. Sometimes in the Southeast, we don't get as many tapers in the Southeast as some other parts of the country, unfortunately. So I don't know. Might not surface, but like I said, a lot of the songs are out there on some kind of video and all. And then I'm not sure why, but they've been going to Let's Go Get Stoned as an encore lately, a pretty good bit, and that is plenty all right with me. That is a great way to finish the night.
Nothing ever wrong with some Booker T and the MGs, man.
Yeah, that's. Did he write? Did he originally? Was that originally his song, Booker T and the MGs, or he wrote that?
Or is it a Sly? I don't know. I could have been honest.
Yeah, it's been covered by.
Tim knows better.
Everyone,
sure.
Of course.
I thought it was. It's an instrumental by Booker T. I thought, but
yeah, I think he's done it.
Ray Charles did it.
Right.
Okay.
Wow. There you go, Tim.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that's a great one. Obviously Susan and all the singers get some lines in there. It's just a good time. You get the horns. I mean, it's just that's a free for all way to end a show, and it's awesome.
Originally recorded by the Coasters in May 1965, was written by Nicholas Ashford, Valerie Simpson, and Josephine Armstead.
Wow.
Valerie Simpson, huh?
So there you go. Ashford and Simpson originally wrote "Let's Go Get Stoned."
They wrote a good one.
I think Ray Charles was probably the most prominent or known version around that time, I guess. Yeah, I gotta go to. I'll do a deep. So I could do a whole episode just about that song. Like I was saying, even Passaquan is like like certain songs this band plays. Like you could do an entire episode, I feel like, of this podcast about just a particular song. This set list though looks like it's like a party, but definitely had some emotional I think peaks to it as well, especially with Midnight and Angel and even Bell Bottom Blues. Some of these songs really I don't know. They hit you.
Yeah, it felt like Susan just really felt the love from the crowd there, and certainly returned it. It just was a very give and take crowd with the band. I thought they really fed off of that, and I like to think that has a little to do with Derek being superhuman that night, but maybe he was superhuman, which fed the crowd, or the crowd was great and it fed him. I'm not sure which way it went, but both. It was one hell of a night.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. I guess we can move on to Jazz Fest. Let's do that. You guys can tell me about that. I'm doing good. We're moving the train along here. What's the name of the venue where that was?
On the fairground. So it's where the racetrack, like the horse racetrack, is in New Orleans.
Really. And how far did you have to travel to get there, Massie?
Like from home, from Charleston?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
11 hours. We drove because we're here for all of Fest. But from where we're staying, takes like 20-30 minutes to get into the gates.
Massie really is doing New Orleans up right. Massie is doing New Orleans up right. He is catching all the music.
It's my vacation for the year. I got to do it,
Yeah, that's right. You were messaging when you were hitting the road initially.
Yeah, at 3 a.m. We left Charleston at 3 a.m. on my birthday last Thursday. So that was a great way to start out the birthday. But just drove 11 hours straight and got here and started going. So
you guys are all such great music fans, and I think in some regards like even better music fans than me. And I think that's just cool for me to like meet like really, really dedicated people. I'm pretty dedicated to this band in a lot of ways, though. I suppose we can say that.
You are dedicated. You are dedicated.
What's that?
We never started a podcast. That's on
you. True. Yeah, we're all crazy, and I think our own ways there. for sure.
It's one of the things I want to say. I've had the chance to briefly meet Susan and Derek on occasion, and you never really say what you want to say. You're like, and it's really like they created, at least for my wife, for Ann and I, a way of life, a reason to travel, and have met so many incredible people. Just so many.
Brother. Yeah.
I mean, Massie, Tim, and Sandy on here. I've met all of them, through their love of music and TTB. That's how we all met, and we kind of all stay in touch over the years. Again, Tim and I met, I said 2016 for the first time at a show, and we still stay in contact. And Massie and I we met. I think the first time we connected, closely was 2020 at a show in Macon.
Yeah, January. First Hear Me.
Yeah, First Hear Me play that night.
Yeah.
And then Sandy, we bumped in, as he said, in Chattanooga. I don't know what year that was, 18 or 19 or something. We ran into each other in Chattanooga and chatted it up, and then sat together at a show in Jacksonville. So you just meet so many great people, and so many people that love music and actually know music. That these people that play, they're not fooling people, right? They do the real stuff, because Tim, these guys know their music, right? They know the good stuff from the pretenders, and TTB is full of knowledgeable music fans because they play the real stuff. You know,
So well said all around, and I love all that, and I love hearing all that, and just hearing you go on not a rant, but like, and Massie just all I think one of the only things he said right there and jumped in, he goes, first hear me, and that's all you need to know about like this band and the connection to the music, because like, you know, we all know that they didn't play that song for a while after recording it and releasing.
That was also
Let Me
they
Get
came
By.
out. So, I'm sorry, Adam. Excuse me.
No, you're
no,
good.
fire away, Massie. Fire away,
I was
man.
gonna
Come
say
on.
what they also opened. They played the Bill Withers tune that I can't think of the name of. They opened. They hadn't played that in years. That night, I just remember that vividly for some reason.
Was that Learn How to Love? What?
No, but
No,
I'll
the
think
other
of
one.
it as we keep talking, and then I'll interject again.
Yeah.
It's all good.
One Skipping Stones. The lyrics are coming to me. Yes.
Everybody's talking.
Everybody's talking. Yes.
I was like,
yes.
yeah, they hadn't played that in years. And it's
Yeah,
like,
that was awesome.
it was such a cool kickoff to their tour. It was really fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about this show.
Let's do it.
Festival show. A little bit of a different vibe than a typical.
Talk to us, Massie. Talk to us about it.
So really great festival set, and like you're right, Adam. Festival sets certainly always have a different vibe to them, and like you can see in this set list, they're definitely pushing "I Am the Moon" a little bit. But my take from this show initially was it was a lot about Sue. Derek, you know, ripped, but I feel like Sue was kind of the highlight of this gig. I mean, the fact they came out with "Playing with My," you know, first track off the album, right? Isn't it? Or no? Sorry, that's not "Here, My Dear." Is the first, right?
It's the first track off
of "I Am the Moon."
Of the second
one,
second one, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It just felt like Sue had her telly out for most of the show. The crowd was really feeding. They were both feeding back and forth into their energy. I'm always like, I'm a low energy guy in general, if you can't tell through my voice. But like, if you see me at a TTB show, which Dave has seen me, like, I'm dancing and boogieing and jumping just because they get me going. I would say the highlight of the show for me was probably "Circles." I really, really love the groove on that track, and like, you know, where they get into the end of it, I was just like, I was getting down so hard. It was, and that's New Orleans is a lot about funk, and I felt like that end of "Circles" is perfect for the crowd here. It was deep, but like Dave was saying earlier, you know, like if you're up front, you don't really turn around and notice how many people are behind you. But there were a lot of people there watching TTB, which was inspiring to me because I hope this band keeps getting bigger and bigger and succeeds more and more. I don't really know like what else to say about it. You know, let's talk, ask some questions.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's all good stuff.
Yeah, was huge in New Orleans. They laid Gilded Splinters down really hard.
Yeah.
Mike always brings it on that, but Derek certainly brings a different style of slide for himself on that tune, which I really dig. And I also felt like Brandon was laying it down really hard for that show specifically. But I'll throw it to David, back to you, and see what.
Well, I was curious. You go ahead,
David.
David. I was gonna ask, like, did you feel it like in terms of it being a festival crowd, a different vibe than other TTB shows you've been to? Because like people were almost maybe surprised by how awesome the band is. Did you get that vibe at all? Like people don't know what they're getting themselves into if they're a little bit newer to the TTB experience. Did you sense that around you at all, or was it mostly just hardcore fans who knew all about the band and were not surprised how awesome they were?
So David thankfully saved me a spot up by the rail, and we were surrounded by passionate fans, which was really cool. Thank you again, David, by the way. But yeah, you could certainly catch the vibe that not everyone knew who TTB was, but they were certainly getting into it. I think you had a lot of linger-overs from Gary Clark, and they're just like, we're here, we might as well, stick around and see what this band's about. Side note, kind of funny, I thought JJ would maybe get on stage, but I guess the chapter's just closed because they played right before. But honestly, I don't. David might know better than I do because I get so in the zone at TTB gigs that I'm like locked in. Have a little side conversation, but Dave might know better than I do.
Yeah, no, I don't know better. I know what you know, man. It was a lot of fun. I will say this, Adam. We were first. I'm gonna clarify, Massie. We were on the rail for the cheap seats. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We were on the rail for the cheap seats. There's the expensive section right in front of us there where the people have paid thousands of dollars for these passes to Jazz Fest. I mean, people come from all over the world. I mean, this is not just U.S. I mean, these people, we were having, Anna and I had lunch today in a little dive here in New Orleans, and the table next to us, they were all from London, and it was their third year coming to the festival. I mean, this place draws them from all over. So you could be getting people that, have no clue who TTB is, but, and some of these people, like I say, pay a lot of money for these big chief experiences and stuff. So there is a little area in front that but we waited in the heat, and it wasn't as hot as it could be in New Orleans, but it was pretty sunny and pretty warm. And we really had to get in there almost before Gary Clark Jr. played before them to be able to get anywhere near, as close as we wanted to get. Usually when we go to the fest, we sit back in our chairs and we could be, several hundred yards from the stage, but we wanted to be, Massie and I had talked, and we wanted to try to get as close as we could. And we got pretty close. And, it was, as Massie said, a lot of TTB folks right around where we were, because you had to really put in, probably 4 hours worth of standing there to,
Easily.
to secure that. So that was that. Couple of things just for people listening. They cut any day, and there was no made up mine or I want more. So, I have tears from that, but they only had an hour and 45 minutes to play. It looked like Derek and Sue were very optimistic on how much they could get in an hour and 45 minutes. But it was awesome to hear Show Me and Mark, Mark Rivers come up front for the last song. It was awesome.
And the crowd got really into it too. It was a great closer.
Yeah, it was really, really nice. I would say the highlight for me, I'm going to be kind of selfish, but I think it was thanks to Massie or whatever, standing next to him. I don't know, Susan saw him or I or both of us, and she kind of gave us a little nod, a little wave, and a smile that she could even see us back on the rail by the cheap spot. So that was really nice to get a little kind of hello from the stage, that she saw some familiar faces. So that was really, really cool.
She saw the mega fans. She noticed.
Right. I was going to say, you guys are recognizable, pretty recognizable faces as well.
It's kind of hard to miss all this.
Massie with a big beard and David with the big smile and personality and presence and reoccurrence at lots of TTB shows.
Yeah,
as well.
Up on 100.
Yeah,
but I would agree with Matt. You think back on it, and Massie hit it right on. It was kind of, and I think Derek, probably does this on occasion. He really featured Susan, as Massie said. It felt like a kind of a Susan show. I mean, you've got Just Won't Burn, How Blue, Take Me As I Am. I mean, just a lot of, and a lot of these songs have Susan leads in them as well. So a lot of them. Yeah, I would think it was. That's a great observation there. It really probably was a feature of Susan. I mean, she was dressed gorgeous, great outfit. Hadn't seen it before with kind of, I mean, if you got some pictures somewhere or whatever, but she just had a beautiful outfit on. Band was all smiles, a lot of energy. Massie mentioned, JJ was in the band before. He's Gary Clark's drummer now. I did happen to see, we were walking around. You can, if you know the fest, you walk around the track, whatever, and sometimes you can, see things. And I did happen to catch a glimpse of Susan and JJ having a hug. at some point. So
She's the sweetest.
they didn't play together, but they I guess they got a chance to visit or something. So that
Did
was
anyone else? Yeah, that's very cool. Did anyone else have any personal interaction with any the band over the course of going to shows? Tim, David, Massie.
I mean, I went to the Maple Leaf late night because I typically go there always when I'm here because that's one of the tightest, smallest music clubs in this country, and just they get some of the best acts. You know, Marcus was going on stage. I even forget the band that was playing there, but I had a feeling if they were going out, maybe they might be at the Maple Leaf just because Marcus was there, and that happened to be the case. I'm sure everyone's seen the pictures. Sue got up and did, what'd she do? Eddie's Dead or something with Marcus, and then they dipped out. They were just trying to enjoy their time in New Orleans, I think, and then had to get on the road the next day, just keep the tour going. But
Very cool, though.
I don't know. I expected, to hear maybe Isaac would be out around town since he's from here, but I haven't heard. Maybe he was just hanging with family and stuff while I was here. But they, it was just them at the Maple Leaf. No one else from the band. Who showed up? Carl Denson showed up, but he didn't play either. It's just the fun thing about Jazz Fest is what happens after the fairgrounds every day. And like I'm like laughing at myself just because I'm like delirious right now because I've probably been to, not exaggerating, at least 15 shows since Thursday, and that's not including the fairgrounds. Because shows down here at Jazz Fest, look, like the fairgrounds are done at 7. Shows start at 8 p.m. and the last shows at venues will have shows 3 times a night, and the last one might start at 3:30 in the morning, and you might be walking out at sunrise. And that's the beauty to me as being like an obsessive music fan, is just being able to go to like almost get an overdose of music at Jazz Fest. I think Jazz Fest is the best festival in the world, at least musically. Not that I'm a world traveler, but I've been to Jazz Fest so many times and other festivals. This is the one where it's like, you get the festival, then you get to leave, go out, get good food, and then kind of do whatever you want to do for the rest of the night. You can go to bed or you can go to 3 shows and no one's judging you. It's just a great time.
Well, somebody should be judging me because Ann and I have come home and gone to bed the last 2 nights while Massie's been out rocking. We're actually going to try to go out tonight to Tipitina's to see a group called Dragon Smoke. So I'm trying to get Massie to come join us, but
I think we'll meet you down there. We're right down the street right now.
Oh man! All right.
You guys are all still there.
Yeah. All right.
I'm here for the
It's still happening. Things are still happening. It sounds
second
like.
weekend is
Man,
longer.
you guys are killing me.
Come on, Tim. Come on, Tim.
But you got it. But Tim got a different experience in Arkansas, and in some ways, that really does appeal to me. That non-festival TTB 2-set evening with show where it's not, you don't have to necessarily murder other people to get a location. You have to be prompt and you have to fight people. I'm only willing to do one or the other.
Getting the individual show is definitely the way to go with TTB. But like Massie said, the Jazz Fest experience is just
right. It's its own thing.
It's unless you experience it, like you said, you can't understand it. So the music, the first weekend is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then they call it days in between, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You could see music probably 18 hours a day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday with no festival. And then Thursday cranks up again. And like Massie said, it ends at 7. And then there could be a show at 8. There could be one at 11. There could be one at 2. I mean, and that's across, I don't know,
there are at least 50
25
of them a night,
venues, huh?
Yeah. There are at least like 50 shows a night across the city.
It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous here.
It's insane. And it's just like I definitely punish myself while being down here, but like I might as well, because I'm never going to get this amount of music anywhere else. I highly, highly, highly recommend Jazz Fest to anyone that's a passionate music fan. Like, come here. New Orleans is such a great place. such friendly people. I love this city so much. Literally, I'm interviewing up here and upstairs at the first bar and restaurant I ever worked at. Fucking 20 years ago.
It's all good. It's funny you just blurted that out, because I was like, this guy is doing a great promo marketing video for New Orleans tourism, for Jazz Fest, for social media clips for me to use for this episode. I'm like, he's on a roll right now.
It is the absolute best, and you can do it however you want to do it. And if you just want to go to the fairgrounds, cool, go to the fairgrounds. But it's all, it's whatever. It's your world.
There are people that come for Jazz Fest and never go into the actual festival. They just do all the stuff that's outside of it. So I mean, you can do it in so many different ways. It's crazy. And then obviously you have the food in New Orleans, which to me is the best in the country. Massie, we did Clancy's tonight. I know you got a reservation there later. It was, I told Ann, I said, I might have had the best food day I've ever had in my life. Between where we went to lunch and dinner today, I might have had the best food day of my life. So, I mean, at 63 years old, that's, and a guy that loves food, that's saying a heck of a lot. But yes, come to New Orleans. And then on top of it all, to have your favorite band here, TTB at Jazz Fest.
How does it get better?
Yeah. It's just
this in some ways this is I'll say almost as important as talking about the music and just doing that and going through set lists and talking about our awe for the band and Derek and Susan, because this is part of the selfish reason for me to do the podcast, is really just so I can literally live vicariously through you guys and get the feel of the experience of being at these places and in these cities. And now I feel like I have that. Like, I kind of feel like I kind of could know what it's like to walk down the street as the sun is setting, probably going from the fairgrounds.
Coming up.
Maybe. I would probably maybe pace myself. I'd be somewhere in between what David does and what Massie does, his experience. I would just center mine around TTB and food. Maybe it would be a big part of it. But I really feel like I got to
do it any way you want to do it, Adam.
You said it. You guys both said it, I think, in those words exactly moments ago. But like, I really get like the sense of like the feel of the city and even the smells of the city and the food and the culture and the atmosphere. Like, I got that. I feel like I had that in Chicago and in DC and at the Ryman especially too. Like, I kind of like felt like I was kind of there, and I barely even like scratched the surface of even like, because I know you've posted a bunch of videos and Keith Sharp, we mentioned, posted some of the videos in the fan groups. So it's like, yeah, I'm excited to dive into the music more, like whatever's available from these shows. Like, and then I'll be like, I'll just, it makes for a richer experience just having these conversations with you guys. And I definitely appreciate your time and sharing those stories. Should I pull up the set list again if we had anything else you guys wanted to mention about it?
Well, I know Tim has got great videos, and he's got a YouTube channel as well. Tim, like I said, he's written articles and stuff. I mean, Tim is the man. So he's got some good stuff out there that fans need to be checking out. So a lot better quality videos than I shoot. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I appreciate it all from low quality to high quality. What's that, Tim?
Everybody's got to that groove. I mean, what a great groove. As I've said before, my wife Ann has fallen in love with that one. Everybody's got to change. I mean, that's got just a great groove. Massie's at Gilded Splinters. Dr. John here in New Orleans, they had to pull that out.
Yeah.
And I already mentioned How Blue was just, I think one thing to mention is you're on the big stage, and I don't know how many people are at Massive, I know 50,000 or whatever. There's big screens on either side. And when they would zoom in to Derek, getting in on his hands on the big screen, I mean, it's awesome to be able to just
screens help.
I mean,
I
it's
stare
nice.
at his right hand all the time because it blows my mind.
guitar player, music fan. I got you.
Hey, I'm curious about something. I observed in Little Rock. I don't have percentages or anything, but it seemed like he played less slide in Little Rock than I've seen him play in a long time. And which is, I mean, he can play anything he wants. It's all good with me. But I don't know. I just thought it was kind of remarkable. And he was really digging in without it, and it was spectacular. But
That's unbelievable.
I don't know. It just seemed a little unusual compared to when I've seen him in the past.
Seeing him play without a slide and the fact that he finger picks is like insanely mind-boggling to me. Like I said, like I watch his right hand almost religiously. The dude, I mean, we all know it's just he's the greatest. I mean, and probably most of our opinions, I would say, but he blows my mind all the time, and especially when he's not using the slide, it's insane. A lot of Pasquan is like that.
Yeah, Pasquan is
I don't think there's no
pretty
slide
much
on
without
Pasquan.
slide
There's
on
no,
Pasquan.
right? Yeah.
I would agree, Massie. I mean, like I said, I'm 63 years old. Everybody can say best or whatever, but I mean, to me, he moves me with his guitar playing more than anybody else I've ever seen play the guitar.
I mean,
So,
I had tears.
How I ended up here
on Saturday.
Yeah,
Or
I mean
Sunday,
that's just
sorry.
What's
just
that,
the way he
Massie?
plays.
I tear up at almost every TTB show I go to. It just doesn't matter. It just always gets me. Like even Midnight still gets me. It's just such a great tune. And you figure being a fan forever, you'd get tired of their number one hit. It's like nah. It still hits me right here every time, and I love it. I think that's what's so special about following this band is their music never gets tired. In fact, it just gets better and better every time they hit the stage.
I made the comment to Massie on Sunday because we watched Gary Clark play for an hour and a half, and then TTB I think hour and 45 minutes, and the difference between Derek and Gary Clark Jr. is I mean Gary Clark, he wants to play a couple of notes and then he puts his hand up to his ear. He wants to hear the crowd talking. He wants all this feedback, and he's asking for affirmation and all this other stuff. Derek, he just plays the guitar. If it moves you, he's going to hear it, right? He's going to hear from you if it moves you. And he just, the way he handles himself is just, I mean, it's stellar.
I think that's actually more what I think you mean, and I think it is more of a compliment to Derek what you're saying than it is as a detriment or whatever. Or Gary Clark slander. It's like it's There's no one that can compare, and it sounds silly for us to objectively say someone is better, best, this and that. But I agree with you guys, and like I saw it myself when I was watching earlier this week, like. The video of Derek playing at the Hollywood Bowl with John Mayer and BB King, and like John Mayer, there's just like comparison is the thief of joy or whatever, but like you can't. There is no comparison, and even to BB in some regards, and we hear BB in Derek's playing, of course, but like it's like it's Dwayne, but taken to a whole nother level, if that makes any sense. And I'm jumping all over the place, but hearing Massie describe New Orleans, I can't help but think that like Dwayne Allman would have been someone who really would love Jazz Fest or what it's become. What's the connection?
The Allman Brothers had a strong connection down here. They used to play a place called Warehouse. And they got in a little bit of trouble down here, and that was probably in 70 because Dwayne died in 71. November. They used to play this old venue down here called Warehouse like all the time. They were the house band down here for a few months. I don't know I don't think Jazz Fest was a thing back then. I don't think Jazz Fest is that old.
I think it's.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm on the right page, but it did look like it started around 1970. But I didn't read this closely, and to see what it ultimately became, probably what it is today, and was not what
I
it was back then.
guarantee it started small and has evolved into
What
this
year would that be?
massive thing.
Right, and that's what I imagined is like would
1970.
Dwayne would want to like participate in all these like after hours jams at the
exactly.
fairgrounds,
Yeah.
but also play with all these different bands and his own band, the Allman Brothers, and different projects like at
And
these
that's
festivals.
most
I
of
can
what you
imagine.
get. Yeah, it's
I
like
think it's
there are a lot of bands without names that play, you know, the late shows at Jazz Fest. It's just like, I guess, what do you call them, super groups or something? And just like, they're not a band. They're getting together and jamming and playing a show. It's like, you only see that here. Nowhere else.
And that's
You know?
on the fair. That's at the fairgrounds. You're
No,
saying, or
I'm talking about
that's
after fairgrounds.
the after out. Yeah, that's
The
part of the
fairgrounds.
whole. Mhm.
The fairgrounds itself is probably the most efficient thing that happens in New Orleans. Like everyone hits right on time, everyone finishes right on time, everyone gets, you know, in and out right on time, and then kind of the madness begins after that. But
And then all bets are off.
Yeah.
Exactly, Tim. Yeah.
I looked it up. It started in '69, but it was, I think Jazz Fest when it first started was very, very small the first few years. But I would kind of imagine that if Dwayne had the Allman Brothers at one of these late night jazz things that go on now, they would have had a show starting at 8:00 and it would have ended at 8 the next morning.
I mean,
You know, Dwayne would have
highly
had them
possible.
playing on and on and on and on. You know, I think
Yep.
that would have been something to see. I think this would have, you know, obviously I never got to see Dwayne play. I was, you know, a little too young, but I can imagine this would have been right up his alley. This kind of this late night gigging that people, as Matt said, you know, just guys getting together. You know, different people just throwing stuff together for a one night gig down here in New Orleans because they all happen to be in town together, and say, hey, let's just do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
So,
I love hearing all these stories and these connections, like invoking Dwayne and the Allman Brothers and talking Jazz Fest and TTB with you guys. Like, it just makes for a better, richer, like I'm saying, richer experience as a music fan, and especially as a Tedeschi Trucks Band fan and a fan of Derek and Susan, of course.
Yeah.
Anything else we should talk about or cover or mention any of you guys from any of the shows? I'll let you guys plug whatever you want or tell me what shows are upcoming. Feel free to bring up any other things or notable experiences, anecdotes from your weekends.
I could go on for a long time, but you probably don't really want to hear about it.
Well, I'll have to have you back on either to recap a future show or just to talk more about whatever's on your mind.
I will say, off topic of TTB, the first show I went to down here last Thursday was Bill Kreutzmann and the Kids, which he just broke off from Dead & Co. and said he's not doing that anymore. One of the best Dead experiences I've ever had in my life. I would highly, highly recommend seeing them as well if they go back out and tour anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they tour under Billy and the Kids, I think is what they tour under, right, Massie? Billy and the Kids?
Yeah, but you've got guys that play with Trey's band, you've got guys that play with Joe Russo's band, so they're just kind of like they're just kids.
They're kids to Kreutzmann, right? They're a younger generation, but so talented. I saw them years ago once, and I thought it was I have the recording. I play it in my car all the time. I thought it was one of the best Dead experiences I've heard as well. So great stuff.
Kreutzmann's pushing the Dead music into the future, which is what it needs. You know, Dead and Company just rinse and repeats. Sorry, Dead and Company, I still love you. But anyway, sorry.
No, that's very cool. It's like a project that doesn't have an official line, kind of like what Kebby does with Wolfpack in a lot of ways. It's an ongoing thing, and there are some core members in a sense, but like it's a revolving door of really talented people and musicians.
Molly Tuttle showed up at that show and was unbelievable. So
cool. Any you guys, Tim, do you use you got a YouTube channel or any, if you want to share any people can follow?
I got a YouTube channel. You can find me It's Zark Moon, ZARKMOON. And I just,
What does that
I
mean?
just go to a lot of shows. It's Ozark Moon without the O.
Ah, okay.
That's all.
Okay, I got you.
I've spent a lot of time in the Ozarks looking at the moon or howling at it. And, that's just the crazy name I came up with.
I love it.
And,
I
but
follow
yeah,
that
I've got a
channel.
lot of videos from when just different shows. When I go to a show, I will usually try to be really still and, do just a couple of songs. The next night I did one song from a Brave Combo show. The week before, Rebirth Brass Band was in town. I did one song from them, and I'll just toss those up there. But one of my, and this is the only other time besides last Friday I've seen Derek play the big hollow body Gibson. I've got one video there that's got like 500,000 views from the BB King celebration in Indianola in 2021. Wow. And he's playing a borrowed guitar from the BB King collection.
Yeah, he got to play a Lucille.
Yep.
Nice. You got video of that up. Wow.
Good stuff.
I do. Yeah, there's other people too. There's like Gary Clark Jr. and Kingfish and some other people. And I'm also on the radio every Saturday, noon to 3 o'clock on KABF in Little Rock. And it's online at kabf.org.
Very cool. I feel like a lot of these other artists, Gary Clark and Marcus King and Kingfish, I've all kind of discovered in some sense through TTB and just diving more into this music, either directly discovering them or indirectly discovering them just through just like, just paying attention and as a fan of TTB. David, you got anything you want to plug, promote? You got a YouTube channel, you got more TTB shows.
Plug.
Sure, and you got more. What's we're getting, like Massie mentioned or Tim mentioned, you're getting closer to your 100th TTB show, so you can tell me what you got upcoming.
Yeah, that's my shameless plug today. So Jazz Fest was number 97.
Jeez.
So I got 3 more on the docket. So my 100th show hopefully will be in my hometown of Atlanta, Georgia, at the Fox on Saturday night. What is that? The 24th of June. If all goes according to plan, that will be my 100th show. So if anybody wants to come celebrate with me, I'd love to see you at the Fox on June 24th. And I will not be seated in my seat, shall I say. With Ann and I, please, with us. We will be there together with some kind of T-shirt on. That's my shameless plug, cool. Adam.
And your YouTube channel, just David Flamm. You're pretty easy to find. It's the David Flamm who has the music and the Tedeschi Trucks Band videos. 2 M's in Flamm.
2 M's in Flamm, right. There you go. Adam, thanks so much for doing this, man. You're the best.
Oh, you guys are the best. I appreciate it.
Massie's got something to plug. If you're ever in Charleston, he'll feed you.
Oh, yeah. Well, come see us at Blackout Burger. We're a food truck. We make great smash burgers amongst many other things. But I'm not here to sell myself by any means. I just love talking about music, and I appreciate.
Oh man, but I love talking about food too. What's that truck again? Say that name one more time.
It's called Blackout Burger. We're a trailer. We hop around breweries and other spots in Charleston and have a lot of fun. I used to be a fine dining chef and kind of got over that about 1.5 years ago. And me and my buddy who would do the truck together have similar backgrounds, and we have a good time, make good food for the people we like, and I don't know, we just have a good time. We put out good vibes, and please come look us up. It's black_out_burger at Instagram, on Instagram. Best way to follow us, or Street Food Finder.
I love it. I was going to ask if there was Instagram presence for your food truck. That is very cool. As was this conversation with all you guys. I appreciate it. Now I'm hungry. I'm going to make dinner on the West Coast. It's still a little earlier than where you guys are. Thank you again. And let's all talk soon.
Cool.
Thanks, Adam.
Pleasure, Adam. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Take
Great
it out.
to see you, Tim. Massie, we'll see you
Hey,
soon.
great to
I
see you
hope.
too.
Yeah, I'll holler at you in a
Great to
minute,
meet
buddy.
you guys.
Oh,
Cheers,
for sure.
Tim.
Thanks. Nice meeting you guys as well on camera, for sure. Cheers. So there you go. Episode 115, recapping Tedeschi Trucks Band in Arkansas, Alabama, and at New Orleans Jazz Festival. That was super fun. I feel like I went to all those shows now. That is the reason I'm doing these recaps selfishly, so I can feel like I went to those shows. And I'm going to feel even more like I went to the shows when I dive into some of these videos that are starting to pop up more on YouTube and in the different Facebook groups and on people's pages and some stuff on Instagram. So I'll be digging in on that stuff. But hope everyone is doing okay out there. Please check out at Tedeschi Trucks Podcast on Instagram. Please follow and subscribe on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. That is definitely appreciated. iTunes, Spotify, however, it's pretty much available everywhere. Please subscribe on YouTube. Positive reviews on Apple Podcasts are appreciated. I'm at Adam Choit on Instagram and Twitter. If you'd like to follow me, adamchoit.com for all my other projects and side hustles and things that I got going on outside of this show. Tedeschi Trucks Podcast.com for all things related to this show with all the social media stuff. And the YouTube links and all that is up there, as well as is a link to Tedeschi Trucks Band.com. That's the band's official website. Please check that website out and join the Swamp Family Fan Club. They have a new app. It's super cool. I'm starting to post more on that. I did see that there was things that I could add into my profile, so I'll put up some links to my stuff on there and continue to be more engaged on there. They actually did have a Q&A where you could submit questions to different members of the band. I actually submitted a few, as did I'm sure many of the other members of the Swamp Family Fan Club. So definitely check that out. TedeschiTrucksBand.com will point you in that direction. I'm going to try to continue to do more recaps. I know the band is headed to Texas soon. I don't have the tour schedule pulled up, but I'll post those links on the various social media as those shows approach. But I think that's pretty much all I got for today. I appreciate you guys listening. Reach out if you're going to upcoming shows and you want to come on and recap them. Down to do that, and always will try to continue to do my best with the technical aspects. Live streams definitely can be a challenge, of course. So doing my best to make that work. I may put out an edited video version of this live stream as well. Definitely will edit the audio a little bit, I'm sure, when I get that out. But I think that's, again, pretty much all I got for today. I appreciate you guys listening and for all the support. And thank you to the band, to the crew, all the guests, everyone. Let's talk soon. Peace.